Okay, all right, good evening, everybody. Is everybody here? Thank you for being here tonight. Adequate notice of this meeting, as required by the Open Public Meetings Act, was provided through the posting, mailing, and filing of the annual notice of regularly scheduled meetings of the Town Council on December 17, 2024. The notice was on that date, posted on the bulletin board in the municipal building, provided to the Westfield Leader and the Star Ledger, and filed with the clerk of the Town of Westfield. Ms. Losh, we have a roll call.
Mayor Brindle?
Here.
Council members Habgood?
Here.
Dardia?
Here.
Domagala?
Here.
Kiefer?
Here.
Saunders? Armento?
Here.
Contract? Healy?
Here.
Please rise for the invocation given by Councilman Hapgood and then remain standing for the salute to the flag.
As we convene this meeting, let us draw upon the values inclusivity and understanding that we define, whereby we define our community. Regardless of our individual faiths or philosophies, let us unite in our dedication to fostering a safe, prosperous, and equitable environment for all who call this town home. May our discussions be marked by civility and our decisions guided by compassion. Together, let us strive to build a future that reflects the best aspirations of our shared humanity.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well, quick updates for you, Mayor and Council. Three things, actually. Paving. So paving, we've had a blockbuster summer. All of the various roads contract paving was completed, I believe, yesterday, which means that 38 of our 40 roads or sections of roads are done. What's left to be done is some striping, stop bars, and crosswalks have to be finalized. But the last two roads that were actually scheduled for this year from the town's projects are a section of Elm Street between Walnut and East Broad, and a section of Broadway between roughly Cotting Road and Willow Grove Road, and they are state aid projects. So they'll be sent to the state probably next week for their review, put out the bid, and probably be actually done in either October or early November. So we expect to get all 40 roads or sections of road this year finished on our side. Also, the Elizabethtown Gas roads, there's 20 roads or sections of road they have on their list this year. 7 are completed already. They have about another 12 or 13 that they're looking at finalizing or starting in either late this month or next month. So we'll be back to you with some information on that soon. But please want to make the public know, again, please sign up for Nixle if you haven't already to get updates on the paving on a daily basis, and all of the paving details, roads list, not only for 25 by the town and the utilities, but 2026 town's paving list is on the website, and you can go there and look at that for next year. So again, I want to thank Mike Bignell, our town engineer, the inspectors, and Public Works Department. A lot of coordination has to happen with our paving contractor to make sure these things happen smoothly, and they really did a great job over that past really month and a half that all these roads happen, and our contractor really did a good job as well. So. Two other things, pool season. I started at the pool. I will always talk about the pool. Pool had another amazing season, another sold out season. Reminder to the public, the pool has 9,700 members. This is not a small complex. Thanks to Lauren Conrad, Heather, of course, and the recreation staff and the seasonal staff. Another amazing job by the staff. A couple of little points about the pool besides being sold out. Remember that we actually replaced the entire filtration system for the pool in the off season. So thankfully it did work all season very well. We also had member guests were up this year. Weather was actually for a few rain dates. Weather was very good this summer, so guest passes were up. Swim team registration also increased this year. Some new programs were also launched, including the Ducky Derby, the Boat Regatta, and also some family-friendly things, Chalk the Deck and Music Bingo. So very excellent results. I think the Boat Regatta might have been the most exciting and I think Facebook-worthy event this year. So again, just want to thank the staff. They did a phenomenal job, and again, already planning the day the pool closes. You plan for the next season. So again, and I will say one other thing. We constantly get contacted from other towns for pools, getting our expertise, Heather, Lauren, and the pool staff. We run a really first-class community pool complex, and and we always get asked questions on other pools, and we are happy to give information and help everybody else to run a successful pool. So again, thanks to Heather and Lauren for a great season. And then lastly, the street sign program. I know the mayor posted this past week on Facebook. Just wanted to shout out to DPW, particularly Gene Watkins and his crew, Allison Almer. So the town completed its own town road program, the street sign replacement program, and all the town roads are completed. They're in the process right now, this past week and this next week or two, to finalize replacement of all county road signs. If you remember that we made a deal with the county to take over sign maintenance and replacement for us going forward. So thanks to the county for that. And we expect to have all that finalized on the county roads in the next few weeks. And the sign auction for the vintage signs we took down, we're getting them all. There's a lot of signs. There's going to be roughly close to probably 1,000 signs we'll be actually looking to auction off. So there'll be some competitive bidding on various roads. So that'll probably happen early in October, if not sooner. And just want to thank the council for their support and funding to get that project done. But I think it really actually makes a difference and looks great. So that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. And just a few comments about, so a little update on things and the comments about tonight's agenda. I do want to remind everybody that we are being streaming live on YouTube, and the replay will be available afterwards on Facebook, YouTube, and TV 36, and public comment is accepted in person only. Want to let everybody know, I hope they can join us this Thursday for our annual community gathering to observe the 24th anniversary of the 9/11 terrorist attacks at the 9/11 Memorial Site on North Avenue at East Broad Street. The ceremony begins at 6:30 and will include prayers of commemoration by members of the local clergy, followed by the presentation of the ceremonial wreath by an honor guard and the playing of taps. And as we do each year, the ceremony concludes with the reading of the names of the Westfield residents we lost that day in a period of silent reflection. And there are many upcoming events. It's very timely that we have so many cyclists with us tonight. Because this Sunday from 9 to 11 a.m. at the South Avenue train station lot is the beginning of the Tour de Westfield. This free event has been moved to the south side to allow for a longer bike route. I can't remember, Jim, we've had like several hundred, 400 or 500 cyclists. And so it allows for a longer bike ride, and it also is a little less disruptive to the north side businesses downtown. It's hosted by the Recreation Department, Recreation Commission, in collaboration with the Westfield Police Department, and registration is open this Thursday afternoon on the Civic Rec website. It's very, very popular. It looks like it's going to be a beautiful day, so hope to see all our cyclists out there on Sunday. Also want to remind everybody that we have 3 more chances to enjoy live outdoor music of Sweet Sounds Encore every Friday night on Quimby Street through September. Again, big thanks to the Downtown Westfield Corporation for bringing this programming back. And very popular Festival is back, sponsored by the Chamber of Commerce. That is on Sunday, September 22nd from 10 to 5 in downtown Westfield on Central Avenue in Quimby. Many craft and food vendors, fun and games for everyone. Hopefully the weather will be as beautiful as it has been the last few weeks. And if you're ready for fall, the big announcement today, the Adams Fest team just released their 2025 lineup. Includes old favorites like the Masquerade Ball, the Art Exhibit, Family Fun Day, and Charlie's Ale Garden, as well as some new additions like the Wednesday Night Crawlers. It's a bar crawl with special Adams Fest drinks I saw. It's a cocktail crawl through downtown. So visit adamsfest.com for full details. I also want to let everybody know about the Devlin Awards. The Westfield Historic Preservation Commission seeks entries for the Harry Devlin Awards program honoring property owners for outstanding efforts in restoration, expansion, maintenance of older properties. Any project completed within the past 5 years that is visible to the public is eligible, and deadline for entries is September 15th, and you can go on the Commission's website for criteria and entry information. And I did want to give everybody a bit of an update. We had some news yesterday about a decision that came from, issued by the Superior Court of New Jersey related to 1 Westfield Place. Once again, the town of Westfield has prevailed in litigation brought by the Westfield Advocates for Responsible Development. This time they were challenging the amended redevelopment plan for 1 Westfield Place, which this council adopted in May. This marks the 4th time the courts have ruled in favor of the town on redevelopment matters initiated by the advocates. Once regarding the Sophia, twice on the original 1 Westfield Place plan, and now on the amended plan. In each case, the judges have unequivocally sided with the town, affirming both the integrity of our process and its consistency with the town's master plan. And they just emphasized several key points, which I think is worth reiterating. They said a plain reading of the statute shows the advocate's claim that the amended plan fails to meet the criteria of local redevelopment and housing law is inaccurate. The advocates also admitted portions of the very law they relied upon to argue that the plan circumvents the statutory requirements of the disposition of municipal property. And lastly, because the plaintiffs failed to establish that Westfield's actions were arbitrary, capricious, contrary to law, or unconstitutional, the complaint was dismissed with prejudice, meaning the same claim cannot be brought against the town again. And as I said, after the last ruling in June, these meritless lawsuits brought by 4 residents have cost taxpayers not only legal and professional fees, but also significant opportunity costs. Delay tactics have kept the Lord & Taylor site, which has now been vacant for over 5 years, from delivering the substantial community benefits promised by One Westfield Place. And I do recognize, and I just want to reiterate, it's election season, when facts can take a backseat to campaign rhetoric. And to be clear, this project is moving forward with broad community support, and any promises to undo it are disingenuous. There are no loopholes that would allow the town to escape the legally binding agreements already in place. Anybody that suggests otherwise is not living up to our obligations or responsibilities. No future administration can simply reverse what has been painstakingly negotiated, and that is a positive safeguard. Without such assurance, no major project requiring large-scale capital investment could ever move forward. So with the court ruling behind us, the focus should now be on when we'll break ground and how quickly the developer can deliver the project's critical public improvements, particularly the much-needed traffic and bike and pedestrian safety measures that are central to One Westfield Place. While litigation from these 4 residents tends to make headlines, the question I get asked frequently by most residents and business owners is how quickly can One Westfield Place get started, recognizing that this project will infuse a $375 million investment in our downtown and deliver $42 million in much-needed infrastructure and streetscape improvements. The projected $165 million in pilot revenue will diversify and stabilize our tax base, benefiting all taxpayers. So I look forward to sharing progress updates, and I think you're going to see things accelerate at this point as we move closer to making this transformative project a reality. Now, there's a short legislative agenda tonight with the following items. On the Finance Policy Committee, we have a resolution authorizing an affordability assistance grant funded through our Affordable Housing Trust Fund. From the Public Safety Committee, we have an ordinance on second reading to shift an existing handicap space on First Street. And from the Code Review and Town Property Committee, a resolution to approve a children's amusement device license for 2 block parties and festival. And from Public Works, we have a resolution consenting and agreeing to the assignment of Grand Sanitation's contract to a new collector as they are selling the company to Interstate Waste Service. The Grand Sanitation staff is staying to work for the new company, so we keep our current contracts, we maintain our 5-year contract at a very favorable price. So with that, we can get to work on tonight's agenda. Ms. Lashy, are there any advertised hearings?
Yes, Mayor, we have an advertised hearing for General Ordinance 2025-18, an ordinance to amend the code of the Town of Westfield, Chapter 13. Anyone wishing to be heard on General Ordinance 2025-18, please come to the microphone and state your name and address for the record. Seeing no one, Mayor, you may close the hearing.
This hearing is closed. Councilman Dardia, please move for the adoption of this ordinance.
Thank you, Mayor. I would like to move for the adoption of General Ordinance Number 2025-18, an ordinance to amend the Code of the Town of Westfield, Chapter 13.
May I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Domagala. Any discussion? Please call the roll.
Councilmembers Hapgood,
Yes.
Dardia,
Yes.
Domagala,
Yes.
Kiefer,
Yes.
Armento,
Yes.
Healy,
Yes.
Mayor Bindle.
Yes, this motion is carried. May I have a motion to approve the minutes from the Town Council Conference and regular meetings of August 12th, 2025?
I move it.
So moved by Councilman Healy. Second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Hapgood. Any discussion? All in favor?
Yes.
Opposed? This motion is carried. Now it's time for open discussion by citizens. Anyone may come up to the microphone and speak to the council on any subject on which we have jurisdiction. Please state your name and address for the record, and please limit your comments to 5 minutes.
My name is Leonard Silverman. I'm a resident of Westfield for 20 years. Currently, I live in Ward 3 on Trinity Place. And I requested there to be a handicap accessibility to the street over a year and a half ago, and it hasn't not been done till this day.
I'd like to add to Len's Travais. My name is Rob Friedman. I'm actually a resident of Short Hills. Len is one of my best friends. I've known Len for over 35 years. And Len is again, he's a 20-year resident of Westfield. He raised his family here. He lived in Ward 1 first.
I lived in Ward 1 for a while.
And now, in the
And
past,
I was very active in the community. I ran the pizza run every year, and I also ran Greta's run a few times before I had a stroke in 2020 from COVID.
the situation is, I pick Len up once a month to go to Temple. And it takes him, he needs to walk 150 feet to the curb where I have to dangerously position my car at the corner of a fairly busy stop sign. And every time I come pick him up for the past year and a half, I go, Len, has the council put that concrete ramp in front of the apartment? He's like, Rob, they're working on it, they're working on it. This has been going on for a year and a half. Len has his own CPA practice. Len has to leave the apartment not just once a month to go to Temple, he has to go to physical therapy. He has to go to the post office to drop off client envelopes. He has to go shopping. He doesn't complain at all. We're here because I made this suggestion. This has not been the town's finest hours, but you have a chance to redeem yourself. No more excuses. Can someone on this council say that they can go break ground and put in a small ramp in front of this condominium so he can live a dignified, independent life and does not need to depend on others and have to walk 150 feet every time he leaves the apartment? He had a stroke at 63. The probabilities are very strong that all of us in our 80s and 90s are going to be in the same situation. This is not a theoretical situation. Can anyone on this council say, I'm going to break through the red tape and I'm going to put this ramp in? This is not building the Hoover Dam. Can someone say that they can finally do something for this taxpayer of 20 years?
Not to wrap, but I'm actually going to ask our town administrator, and I do want to say a couple things, and I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry for what you've endured and the inconvenience and the challenges that you've had in understanding. I have to say, and I'm going to ask Mr. Gilday to address it, because we have, and I know you don't live here, but even the ordinance that we just adopted 5 seconds ago was to put a handicap ramp in someone's house at their request. So we have typically been very, very responsive, I think, to these nights and incredibly sensitive to these issues. So I don't think any of us probably on here understand maybe the specifics of maybe why this has been delayed. So if you don't mind, I'm going to ask Mr. Gilday to come up and address, and he's our town administrator, and he might be able to address the concerns and give you a sense of timing.
I've asked for, there is steps to the curb, off the curb, but it's dangerous. I need a rail to hold on to. A rail will be significant, would solve the problem.
Okay, let me ask Mr. Gilday. Oh, gosh, sorry about that, thank you.
Okay, so, yes, Mr. Silverman has been in contact with the town for the past year. The story is as follows. So the request was made last year. We knew that we were paving the street this year. First Street was part of the road paving contract. This is not your typical simple ramp to be installed. When we hired our contractor this June, we asked the contractor and engineer to see what the feasibility is or was to put a handicap ramp, and this is at the corner of Trinity Place and First, and the entrance to the Trinity condos is a little further away from the intersection, and it comes out a pathway to a step that goes down to the where the old handicap spot used to be. That handicap spot has been there for quite a long time. It was requested by another resident whose mother lived there and needed a handicap spot maybe 15, 20 years ago. So when the engineer assessed the feasibility to meet ADA requirements with the right pitch and grade to put the ramp in, it wasn't feasible without actually creating some drainage problems, taking property from the condo complex, and actually creating a major dip in the sidewalk. So as I had suggested to Mr. Silverman last year via email, that the ramp at the corner, which is compliant now today, one of the solutions could be, depending on what the feasibility was, to move the handicap spot further down the corner to the ramp where it is today to accommodate the people parking in the handicap spot to use the ramp. That's what you just approved a few minutes ago. The First Street handicap spot was adjusted to move closer to the corner, still within the required 25 feet of the crosswalks. I don't know if it's been striped yet, but it will be striped if it hasn't been. The signage has been moved. And I think last we asked Mr. Silverman, I don't know if you have it, when you do a handicap spot on the street as someone's request, we can actually request them for their handicap placard number. And the number, if it's given to us, we can place that number on the handicap on the handicap parking sign, so the spot is dedicated for your use. I don't know that we received the placard number yet, but we're more than happy to do that. Okay, well, we wasn't aware of that till right now. So anyway, we moved the spot down closer to the existing ADA compliant ramp. And unfortunately, this does happen from time to time where the pitch and the grade of the road to the sidewalk does not allow for or accommodate a ramp to be installed exactly where they want it, which is why I moved the ramp today. So we have been aware, we have not been ignoring it. Sometimes you align these kind of projects up with existing capital projects, which in this case, First Street was being paved. And that's why there was a delay until now. And tonight was the action to formalize that, although the handicap spot was already installed before tonight's action because we had paved the road and we're striping. So that's exactly what happened here.
Would we be able, Mr. Silverman mentioned a ramp? I mean,
A railing. So
railing?
For liability purposes, the town cannot do that, but the abutting property owner can. And I've actually been contacted just this week by another resident of Trinity Gardens. By the way, I used to live there myself, so I know this very well. And another neighbor, my former neighbor there, contacted me about installing a railing. And I advised her, too, that she should bring that issue back to the Trinity Gardens board, which she said she's going to do. If you're right around the corner from this, if you, right in front of Holy Trinity Church, there's actually a railing there in the sidewalk close to the curb next to a handicap ramp, which Holy Trinity installed. Because that is a sidewalk that they maintain, and just like Trinity Gardens maintains this sidewalk. So if Trinity Gardens wants to do that, they can do that.
So it would be Trinity Gardens that would have to
Yes,
install the...
they would, yep, and there'd be no fee from the town. We just have to advise us when they're doing it, and they're able to do that if they want to, yes.
Got it.
Okay.
Sure.
So I come from a real estate and construction family. I'm a private investor. I don't do construction myself, but it doesn't seem to be very complex to make a graduated indentation into the sidewalk, which would make a sloping, gradual sloping decline to the curb. This is not complex. I have pictures of this. It's basically flat. I don't see what the complication is. I really don't.
I know it does seem very simple on face there, and I'm not an engineer, but I know enough about this over the years. The state, when the town does work on its own roads, it must comply with state statutes for ADA compliance. There are certain grades that have to be met for wheelchair accessibility, proper grades have to be met. So in this case, that was examined, and because of the step that's there, imagine there's a step going down the curb. Most times you come out with a grass strip to a curb. This is an elevated area, so to create the proper grades for wheelchairs, which we can't just accommodate one type of ADA accessibility, it must be all. It would not going to be feasible without then taking property from the Trinity Gardens Apartments and also creating probably maybe 20 to 30 feet of sidewalk on either side, which would have created potential drainage problems and a very large dip for regular pedestrians as well. So we did look at it. We wanted to do it, and then we actually talked about wanting to do it. We made every effort to do it, but engineering-wise, because of the steep grades that are there now with the new paving, it wasn't able to meet the requirements without significant work and taking property from the condo complex.
Well, may I suggest this, and perhaps, Mr. Friedman, you said you come here frequently. Maybe on one of your trips to Westfield to visit Mr. Silverman or drive him, we can meet you or with our engineer and with Jim on site.
Sure.
And so I think being on site visually, and you might come to an understanding of maybe some accommodations that can work, if you would be amenable to that.
Yeah, I'm happy to
Okay.
do that, yeah.
So
Yeah.
so maybe you guys can connect contact information.
And Mayor, maybe you can also invite someone from the Trinity Garden Apartments?
Yes,
Because
yeah,
maybe
yeah.
they would be willing
Yeah,
to
yeah, I
see
know
the
people over
property.
there.
Yeah.
No, I'm suggesting that your neighbor contacted me, and she's gonna bring it to the board. I don't know what the response is gonna be, but they're the property owner, so but I'll be in touch. I have it.
They do nothing at the condo.
So,
They do nothing.
okay. So, okay, great. All right, anybody else?
Any issue?
Good evening, county lawmakers and public officials. My name is John Pisco. I'm a Scotch Plains resident. I own a business in Westfield. My wife runs a business in Westfield. But most importantly, I'm president of All On Cycling Club of New Jersey, largest cycling club in the local area. We've got thousands of followers in social media. We currently have over 500 paid members, about 100 of which live in Westfield. We start several group rides per week in Westfield and the surrounding towns. We are road cyclists. We wear helmets, we follow rules of the road, and we attempt to safely share the road with cars. I was wondering, what do you know about NJSA Title 39 and how to protect people out walking, strolling, and riding bikes on the road? If the honest answer is no, or not much, I don't blame you, because there's almost no road signs about these laws to inform and protect the public. I'm here to talk about New Jersey's safe passing law and the urgent need for clear road signage to support it. This is a law that I've asked several police officers about in various towns in Union County. Most of them have never heard of it, and thus the first time hearing of it is from me, not the state or any town. In 2021, New Jersey had the highest number of pedestrian and bike rider fatalities since 1989. That same year, our state senator, Anthony Bucco, co-sponsored the New Jersey Safe Passing Law. This life-protecting bill was promptly adopted just one vote shy of unanimous approval. Since March 2022, New Jersey's had one of the strongest safe passing laws in the nation. Drivers must approach and pass vulnerable road users, that's anyone on foot, bicycle, scooter, or wheelchair, with due caution. Changing lanes if possible, and always giving at least 4 feet of space when passing. If 4 feet is not possible, drivers must slow down and be prepared to stop. It's called being a good driver. Don't pass when it's not safe. Wait until it's safe to pass. While the safe passing law is vital, it only works if drivers know about it. When, where, while they're driving. That's where you, our government officials, come in. The state has acknowledged the importance of clear signage and approved standard signs. I'm going to show you now. This is the MUTCD approved road sign informing drivers of the rule. If you're not aware, MUTCD is the U.S. Department of Transportation's Manual on Uniform Traffic Control Devices. By installing these official road signs throughout our community, we will significantly increase driver awareness and save lives. These signs serve as a constant reinforcement of the law and promote safer driving habits. Think of all the people that you know who have survived the crash, been injured, all the near misses, the witnesses, including our kids. These aren't just numbers. They represent lives lost, families shattered, a sense of danger, even lawlessness on our streets. This is about protecting our residents the smartest, most economical, and effective way. Pricey paid media, billboards on public buses, educational leaflets, that's nice, but this traffic safety law needs traffic safety signs. We recently had the death of a cyclist, Waji Abdul Haq, right here on North Avenue, and now there's a white ghost bike commemorating the site. Let's make sure this doesn't happen again. No more ghost bikes, please. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. My name is Stephen Dunn. First, I'm a resident of Cranford, so I want to thank you for allowing me to speak here today. I'm a lifelong resident of Union County and president of Union County Connects. We're a 501c3 organization whose mission is to connect all of Union County through a system of safe off-road trails and on-road infrastructure. For the past 4 years, we've been going around promoting both the Westfield Bike and Walk Master Plan and our vision for Union County Connects shared by trails. As we already mentioned, Wajid was killed on August 4th, and on August 7th, around 100 of us gathered to place a ghost bike at the site of the crash in his honor. I want to say thank you to the American Legion, Columbia Club, and the Westfield community players for supporting us in our grieving process. The gathering was a powerful tribute to the person Wajid was and the many lives he touched. To the neighbors who lifted the van off Wajid and the members of the Westfield Fire, Police, and EMS who tried in vain to resuscitate him, I want to say thank you. I know all too well the feeling of trying to save someone who cannot be saved. I also know that though Wajid's life may have ended that day, your trauma did not. So be kind to yourself, take care of each other, because days, weeks, months, or years from now, you may find yourself, your mind, snapping back to North Ave at 10 a.m. on a hot August morning. As you can imagine, in my nearly 20 years as a first responder, I have seen a lot of death on our roads. I thought I had gotten used to seeing and dealing with pain and trauma, but all that changed for me personally on July 2nd, 2021, when I found myself on the other side of the ambulance stretcher. While riding my bicycle to work, I was cut off by a driver and driver of a vehicle and sent hurtling over my handlebars. The impact of my shoulder on the asphalt instantly shattered my collarbone, and in the months to come would shatter my spirit. I was supposed to be the one who people called for help, and now I was helpless. I was the one trying to make our roads safer for all, and now I was a victim of the very streets I was trying to change. As I was forced to sit still with my own thoughts for 3 months while healing and out of work, years of calls and trauma came flooding back into my consciousness, and I realized just how fragile the walls I had built around my heart were. From the depths of my own pain, Union County Connects was born. Wherever you are in Union County, you should be able to walk or roll out of your front door and get to where you're going without fear of being mowed down. It is astonishing to me what our communities are willing to accept as normal. Wajid is one of 16 people killed on roads in Union County this year, 373 killed in New Jersey. By the end of the year, around 600 people will be dead from traffic violence across New Jersey. Each year, year after year, hundreds are killed, thousands more seriously injured, and we just go on as if it's the cost of doing business. The fact that so many people die on roads here in New Jersey is not an accident. In developed nations across the world, proactive Vision Zero policies have made biking, walking, and driving safer for everyone. Hoboken has not had a traffic fatality in the past 8 years. I can think of 4 or 5 fatalities here in Westfield just off the top of my head during that same time frame. Westfield is not Europe, it's not Hoboken, but the principles that guide street design there can inform strategies and tactics here to eliminate the 5 or 6 deaths that are likely to occur in the next 8 to 10 years in Westfield. Wajid's death struck especially close to home for me personally. He was a member of the Bike for Life Club, who's here today, along with their counterpart Ride Pedal movement, and they've been steady supporters of Union County Connects. As a former Kenworth resident, I ride my bike on some of the same roads that Wajid used that fateful morning, and I would usually avoid the intersection where Wajid was killed on my bike ride to work in Plainfield, using routes laid out on Westfield's 2019 Bike and Walk Master Plan and incorporated into Union County Connect's vision of an interconnected trail system. If the recommendations of that plan had already been implemented and the trail network vision already completed, the chances of this crash happening would have decreased. A systematic approach to safety requires a holistic analysis of every fatality on our roads. It requires us to ask hard questions of ourselves and our leaders, like, why did Wajid even have to ride on North Avenue that day? Why aren't there safer options? Why don't any of the 108.63 miles of paved roadway in Westfield have any design considerations for people traveling by bike? Why doesn't Westfield have a single dedicated bike lane? The events that led to Waji's death were terribly unfortunate, but they were by no means an accident. This tragedy was a predictable result of roads and transportation system that prioritizes speed over safety, profit over people, and gives very little consideration to the needs and well-beings of those of us who travel outside of automobiles. So today I'm asking for your help. I'm begging for your attention. Please don't let Waji's death be in vain. Westfield has produced a quality, I've been telling to everyone, the quality bike and walk master plan from 2019, but it has sat mostly dormant for this decade. You have acted on the concerns raised by pedestrians by banning e-bikes in parks. Now I'm asking that you give safe passage to those of us who travel by bike. Westfield has pledged its commitment to green infrastructure and sustainable growth. Now I'm asking that you follow through. Give the community bike lanes. Words and plans are useless without action. The time for action is now. And again, thank you for allowing me to speak. We have a couple members, friends of Waji's who are here who would like to talk as well. Thank you.
Good evening, esteemed councilors. My name is Samad Abdel. I live in Roselle. Waji was my brother. And I really didn't want to talk about Waji's incident because it probably had more to do with drunk driving than anything else, the design of the streets. But my esteemed cycling brother here, he kind of like took my thunder. I wanted to speak about the no pass law. Most people who drive every day have no clue that this law even exists. The statute is 39-492.1, and it's not alone for cyclists. It's for anybody walking, jogging. If you're using a wheelchair, you're supposed to get out of our way. I'm a former police officer. I was a police officer for 20 years, and most of the cops that I know don't know that this law even exists. There probably hasn't been one ticket issued for this particular statute in the state of New Jersey, and this law went into effect, I believe it was July 1st of 2022. I've been cycling now for 12 years. Westfield is probably one of the best places to cycle in Union County. Throughout cycling, and I cycle all over the country, I've only seen one sign that addresses the no pass law, and that was in Roselle Park. I believe it's on North Avenue, since the law has been in existence. So my point tonight is, or what I like to portray, is that we really need to get this information out there. You can't pass people jogging in the street. You can't go in front of cyclists. This is very important to me, and again, if you could Google the statute, 39-492.1, you could get the particulars about it, and if you can make this stuff something that all police officers in your department get, because this is something that is very important, and hopefully we can prevent someone from being injured or severely or killed. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good evening, Council, Council of Westfield. We thank you for having us and allowing us to have our voice heard this evening.
And please state your name and address.
My name is Nadia Abdul Salam. I am a lifelong resident of Union County and one of the co-founders of the club Bike for Life, also Waji's younger brother.
And your street address for the...
553 Court Street, Elizabeth, New Jersey. Bike for Life was established around this time, 2019. And the reason that we established this club was just for what it said, Bike for Life, to promote health and wellness through cycling, to teach safety measures and bicycle handling in the streets so that people can ride safely. YG was one of the safest riders that I know, yet he was killed on a bike doing what he loves. Not because of a mistake that he made, but largely in part of irresponsibility of a drunk driver. But coupled with that, lack of a safe corridor on the streets. We often cycle North Avenue in our rides. In fact, on August 7th, the day that we placed the ghost bike, I got here an hour early before everybody. And in that hour, I sat and I saw no less than 35 cyclists early in the morning traveling that road. So we know that cyclists use this road, but with no safety measures, no bike lane. In fact, to this day, the only sign that I see talking about the safety passage that these two gentlemen just mentioned is the sign that we put up the day that we put up the ghost bike. I can't believe that we don't know, meaning we as the township don't know about this law. It's hard for me to believe that we know about it, and when we know better, we should do better. Because when he died, that affected thousands and thousands of lives. I'll tell you a story of a night I came, matter of fact, before the night before the ghost ride, I came just to make sure everything was where it was supposed to be. I met a gentleman who lived across the street, and he came over, he sat on the grass with me, and he told me the story of witnessing the accident and helping the people lift the van up off of YG. And I saw how damaged he was by seeing this, and he's not related to him. Imagine what we go through. This can be prevented for somebody else's family. This can be prevented for someone else's loved one if we take the proper measures. So I encourage you to strongly look at this, not just say, okay, but look at this and put something in place in your infrastructure. It's easy. I just visited the town of Boston maybe 3 months ago. I rode 35 miles. I visited, what's the university there?
Harvard?
Harvard. I visited Harvard. I visited the stadium. 35 miles of traveling, and I never once was on the street without being in the bike lane. Again, this is not Boston, but it can be done. Everywhere I go, I take my bike with me, and I've traveled many places all up and down the East Coast and the Midwest. And it can be done. There are infrastructures that protect cyclists, walkers, and joggers. It has to be done. Westfield is the richest town in New Jersey, if I'm not mistaken.
Not quite.
Okay, all right? It can be done. It can be done. All right, so again, I thank you for hearing our voices, and I encourage you to look at this strongly.
Thank you.
Hello, I'm Dr. Sarah Schaefer. I live on 111 East Dudley Avenue. I've lived in Westfield for 29 years, brought up two lovely girls here, have been taught my girls how to cycle here, and have been cycling avidly, I just checked, for the last 11 years. I lead some of the rides of All on Cycling on Saturday morning. You might see us out on Dudley Avenue. On August 4th of this year, my husband James and I biked out to meet our friend Lisa in Tamaqua Park for what she calls Monday morning magic. Now, if I was driving in a car, I would drive west on Dudley out to north, but I don't ride my bike on north. I would then, on my car, go on north and turn left on Crossway Park. Once again, I don't like to make that left on my bike. So on that morning, I drove out on Dudley west, turned right on Clark. From Clark, took a left because it's a nice, quiet road. Yes, I signaled my way on Clark, and then went on Edgewood to that light. I make these intricate bike plans so that I can avoid these busy roads, so that I can avoid left turns, so that I can have traffic lights to go across. I know some of you think that cyclists are, dangerous and frivolous, but every time I go out, I add on my neon clothing, my bike helmet every single time. I only bike during the day, but I have on my flashing backlight, my flashing front light. Let's see. My mirror on my bike, my New Jersey required bike bell, my bike computer that is set up to inform 3 emergency contacts if it detects a fall, and my health insurance card. So on the 4th, my husband and I went out to Tamaqua Park. We had a great workout, and we got home safely. But imagine my shock when 2 hours later, I heard about the death of Wajid. I did definitely say, there but for the grace of God go I, because I was just a few feet away from that intersection. And then imagine how my daughter felt. She lives in Seattle now. She got a text saying, are your parents okay? Because there was a big bike accident in Westfield. And my daughter actually knows that that text could be real, because 6 years ago, I was riding, and I was not hit by anything, but a van passed me less than 1 foot away, forcing me to swerve to the right and go on a part of the pavement that had been dug up by utilities. And I fell over, and I guess I was lucky. I only fractured my pelvis. Nothing had to be done. I only had to be out of work for 5 weeks. But I got home. So I'm not really asking for a lot. I'm asking, yes, for the signage that these other people have asked. Many drivers are unaware of this law, and it's hard to obey something if you don't know that it exists. So I'm asking that people and drivers just treat me like you would your mother, because I am a mother. And I would like to live, if lucky, to have a chance to see my grandchildren. So please, when you're out in your cars, just give me 4 feet. And if you can't pass safely, remind yourself that to wait 5 minutes is not really that big of an inconvenience to your day if it gets me home safely. Thank you.
Hi. I'm not much for public speaking, but I'm compelled to do
Give us
so
your name,
today.
Steve.
Yes.
Steve, say your name and address.
Name and
please.
address.
I will. My name is Steve Aronson, and I live at 615 Westfield Ave, and I've lived in town since 1991. The One Westfield Place project and recent e-bike ban will only create somewhat safer streets for bikers, scooters, and pedestrians within the downtown area, as well as designated parks. And it's not going to benefit the at-large community. We simply need, to do more to create safer ways for children and adults outside of automobiles to get to and from our schools, to get to and from the downtown, to our athletic fields, to playgrounds, to parks, to the train station, to the library, to the swimming pools, and even to neighboring towns. We absolutely need roadway lanes and ideally protected lanes to encourage residents to leave their cars at home and provide safer travel on our streets for alternative forms of transportation. Every August, I participate in a 2-day fundraising bike event for the Dana-Farber Cancer Institute. In training for months leading up to that event, I noticed the drivers are more distracted and aggressive in each passing year, making me ride less and also more cautiously when I'm on the road, like some of the people have attested to. Two of my friends who cycle for exercise and participate in fundraising events like me have been struck by cars, resulting in surgeries and hospitalizations. We read of bikers and pedestrians being struck by cars in Westfield almost every month now. I now sadly train for the Cancer Research fundraiser mostly by riding my indoor Peloton bike or heading to Tamagos Park to literally do dozens of laps. The joy in riding a bike outside, in and around our community, has mostly been lost. And if I feel this way, I imagine that most residents in Westfield, adults, parents, kids, have similar concerns. Lack of action makes our town less desirable. It's more car-choked. We have mounting cyclist and pedestrian injuries, as well as even deaths. It is more than time to take some reasonable actions and minimally implement bike lanes from the town's 2019 Bike and Walk Master Plan. Thank you.
Boulevard. I am the current chair of the Westfield Bicycle and Pedestrian Advisory Board. And as a volunteer at Tour de Westfield and other town events over the years, I've heard from many young families who would like to take their bikes on recreational rides and errands with their families, but don't feel safe doing so. Some are dreaming of their kids biking to school or to their friends' houses, but they're faced with the reality of traffic in Westfield. Many of us wonder why Westfield, with its compact downtown and wide streets, doesn't have more bicycling infrastructure. This doesn't have to be. We have many wide streets that could accommodate parked cars, bicycles, and pedestrians, as Center Street in Garwood recently implemented some bike lanes, which do allow the cars to be parked and have lanes for traffic. I live on Boulevard, which is wide enough to land a plane. In 2019, as part of the master plan reexamination, a consulting company identified a network of streets suitable for biking and suggested designs for each, but none have been implemented. In my experience, this sounds crazy, but the major barrier to implementation appears to be that residents don't want lines painted on their streets. To support this theory, you'll remember a few years back after the state painted yellow lines on Prospect, howls of the residents caused you to remove the lines, and this was really unrelated to bikes. This is just lines in the street, and I can't figure out why they don't like lines in the streets, but this is what we have to deal with. Why don't people want these painted lines on their streets? On Boulevard, the wide open spaces encourage cars to speed recklessly, and lines effectively narrowing the street would likely slow them down, which would be good for everybody, not just bicyclists. I suspect that people in Westfield just don't like change. Other towns around the state and the county, including Roselle, Garwood, and Elizabeth, have embraced lines on some of their streets to accommodate bicycles, especially when they understand they could save lives. So what's the solution? The Bike Board has written a resolution in memory of Wedgie, which is currently under review by town staff to begin implementation of elements of the 2019 plan identified in the Union County Connects Trail proposal, specifically East Broad to Mindawaskan and several side streets to the Fanwood border. As East Broad is a county road, any bike lane there would need to be implemented by the county. On the other streets, a traffic engineer could design some alternatives to present to the residents and listen to their concerns. If the major concern is indeed the painted lines, I believe that can be overcome with examples of similar designs in other towns like Garwood or Maplewood, where the painted lines on the streets have not caused mass havoc. Town officials could explain to residents that dedicated bike lanes could slow traffic and provide space for riders like Mr. Al-Haq and their teenage children. I believe the resolution will be ready for the October council meeting, and I urge you to support it. With a little planning and public outreach, we can make at least part of the 2019 plan a reality in my lifetime. Thank you.
Just wait.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. My name is Bill Neerstead. I live at 320 Hickory Avenue in Garwood. I thank you for letting us speak tonight. I knew immediately when I heard about the August 4th death of Waji Abdul Haq that I wanted to do everything that I could to make sure that his death was not in vain. You see, I ride many of the same roads that Waji does. You probably see me biking around Westfield. Neither one of us ride them out of choice, for we have no choice. Union County does not provide adequate bicycle trails on or off-road that we can use to travel safely from town to town. I knew that Waji's death could have been my own or any other cyclist. We cyclists take our lives in our hands every day we ride our bikes on the roads. And I cannot begin to tell you how many near misses I have experienced in my biking years. Our eyes are constantly darting all over the place, looking for vehicle doors opening the right-of-way, children crossing the streets, trucks taking up more of the road than they should, squeezing us between themselves and parked cars. Although I mentioned the possibility of traveling safely from town to town on a bike, it is at this point a distant reality. Some of you know that I recently retired after 42 years as a city planner. Don't tell me I look a lot younger. The last 24 as planning director of the city of Plainfield. One of my proudest moments was the dedication of the first half mile of the off-road Greenbrook Trail from Denellen to Rock Avenue. This trail, when finished, can connect westerly with the Delaware and Raritan Canal to Rock Avenue. This trail, when finished, can connect directly with the Delaware-Raritan Canal and thus the East Coast Greenway to Florida and Maine. How would you like to walk out your front door, hop on the bike, and bike to Florida or Maine? But alas, although Plainfield will be advanced in the next Eastern Trail section later this year, upon its completion, there will still be 6 miles to go just to get to Scotch Plains. Indeed, as has already been mentioned, Plainfield, Garwood, Elizabeth, and Roselle are the only Union County communities that I am aware of with any designated bike lanes or trails. You notice I didn't mention Westfield in that group. As a city planner, I'm aware that most Union County municipalities have adopted circulation elements of their master plans. I'm also aware of how we have to explain to residents that circulation includes cyclists and pedestrians, not just cars and trucks. Union County's circulation system is 100% car-centric. Vehicular bridges get repaired, highways get safety improvements and lane widenings, but cycling and pedestrian improvements, not a priority. Next year, Garwood hopes to have the funding to complete sidewalks so that pedestrians will actually be able to walk the entire lengths of North and South Avenues separately from where cars go. They'll be able to walk the entire length of North and South on separated sidewalks. That same situation exists in Westfield. My role on Union County Connects is to facilitate the trail system from Westfield to Plainfield. The bicycle elements of the respective towns and Union County have not implemented any recommended improvements, or if any, very few. If our towns had implemented even the basic safety provision of bicycle lane striping, maybe Waji would not have been forced to ride on North Avenue. The reason for emphasizing this is not to place blame, but to show how much room for improvement we have. There exists a real possibility of providing, if not separated, at least striped bicycle lanes throughout Westfield. If implemented, one could bike from the east to the west in Westfield, through all of Union County, and to my favorite, Key West, much more safely. If towns would work together to convert the abandoned Central Railroad line, the Staten Island Rapid Transit line, and Roe Valley train freight lines converted to a bicycle pedestrian trail system, and connect the trails with the municipal and Union County implementation of the bicycle elements of each master plan, this can be a much safer reality. Westfield needs to reach out to Union County to convince them to install bike lanes on county roads in Westfield to make this happen. I'm a former councilman. I know that's not easy to do. You need force, you need to talk to them. Union County, as we know, will not act unless municipalities ask them to. Westfield has to ask them to. I do not want to watch another ghost bike hung in Westfield. I hope that you do not either. Thank you.
Thank you.
Jimmy Ewer. I live in Ward 4 on Hyslop Avenue in Westfield. Evening, thank you, Mayor and Town Council, for your time this evening, and thank you for your work and time on behalf of the town. You all show a love and commitment for Westfield. I grew up here in Westfield, and as a kid, I rode my bike often with my family and with friends. I also walked solo to my grandmother's house, pushing my lawnmower to mow her lawn every week, spring through fall. And in the winter, I would do the same thing to shovel her driveway and sidewalk. Since I moved back to Westfield with my family, my biggest observation has been how unsafe it feels to be a bicyclist and pedestrian here in town. I'm not coming to this conclusion based on isolated or cherry-picked examples. Whether walking or driving or bicycling in town, cars and drivers are moving too fast, recklessly, impatiently, and with an entitlement that they own the roads. I'm speaking with neighbors, friends, and new people that I meet, and it seems to be a pervasive sense and dangerous problem. I regularly see cars run red lights, blow through stop signs, ignore bicyclists and pedestrians alike. I've personally had countless issues while walking my toddler or pushing our stroller with our 7-month-old, crossing in a crosswalk with blinkers and all of the proper codes that you're supposed to take. Cars don't stop at crosswalks. I've seen them speed up to beat me or drive right behind my or my wife's heels while still in the crosswalk. The same behavior is true with cars and bicyclists. It doesn't seem to matter when both pedestrians and bicyclists are following the rules of the road. Too many drivers are not, and excuse me, and the vast majority of bikers and pedestrians do. The most serious risk and danger in our town are our cars and our drivers. We as a town have been quick to respond to e-bikes and kids on bikes, but it certainly does not feel like the town takes the threat to pedestrians and bicyclists posed by cars reckless driving habits with equal urgency. Something has to change. Thank you.
Hello, hi. I'm Carrie Hansen. I live at 402 Harrison Avenue, and I've lived in Westfield about almost 40 years. Raised my 3 kids here, and I started working on bike lanes and safe biking in 2007 when I was working with the then head of the DPW, Ken Marsh, who instituted a committee to try to get safe biking. And we worked on it because I wanted to make a way for my kids to bike to school safely and bike to the pool safely. Well, in all these years, that's not an auspicious set of accomplishments, I have to say. We have 0 bike lanes in town. We have paved almost every road, and yet we have 0 bike lanes. We have no speed reductions that I can see, no signs, no enforcement of safe biking. We're just, 0. I just came back from 5 weeks in Minneapolis, where I rented an Airbnb down in the heart of town. And I'm telling you, the situation there is 180 degrees different. Every 3rd road is striped for biking or marked for biking. All of the major roads have protected bike lanes. They have embraced e-bikes because they understand that people who commute by bike improve the traffic and the congestion is way less. They're doing amazing things with street design and tackling the difficult road construction to make it safe for everyone. And it was delightful to be there. I got a new bike when I was there, and I went out for a 40-mile bike ride breakfast at one park, lunch at a different park, and dinner by the lakes. Never once, going clear across town, north and south, was I ever on a non-protected bike lane. We could do this if we wanted to. So it's discouraging here in Westfield, but I believe it all comes down to our value system. And the community is changing now, and I think that what's happening is that we need to figure out what we want and who we are. And I think, and I hope that we are defining ourselves less as suburban, and by suburban I mean you need to get into a car to do absolutely everything, and more village, where we get around our community by bike or by walking, or if we need to, by car. But if we want to have a friendlier, calmer, quieter community, a village, then I think we do need to design for safe bike lanes and safe biking and safe walking. So thanks.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Juanita Cody, and I am from Elizabeth. I live at 706 Livingston Street, and I'm here for the same purpose as everyone else. I would just like to see more safety around our road for us to be able to cycle. And one of the reasons why I started cycling was because my twin brother passed away. He committed suicide. And in order for me to stay mentally fit, I had to cycle, and I took cycling as a way to be able to feel better, and my cycling community supported me through all this. Bike for Life was here as well. I ride for RPM. RPM stands for Ride, Pedal, Movement, and that's all we want to ride. We want to ride, we want to ride, we want to move, and we want to be able to cycle on a daily basis. So please take into consideration all of the things that were said here tonight for us to be able to continue cycling, not only for our physical health, but also for our mental health. Thank you.
Anybody else? No? Okay, thank you all. Hearing none, I close this portion of the meeting. Let me just say a couple things, I'm gonna hand it over to you. First of all, thank you all sincerely for being here. And I can't think of one thing that you said that I disagree with, and I think most of us would say we agree with all of it. And thank you very much for bringing up the bike and ped plan. I do think it's a model we're really proud of that, and we're proud that we actually incorporated it into the town's master plan, because that means there's a level of commitment and obligation to live up to it. I would also tell you, yes, I wish we had been able to implement some of that stuff sooner than we had, but it's not actually accurate that we haven't done anything. And it is a roadmap for us. And I do think, I know we talked a lot about One Westfield Place, and I'll just reiterate what we said about One Westfield Place. It's about creating a community that's more focused on people than cars. And with that comes safe infrastructure for pedestrians and bikes and everything. And so part of One Westfield Place, there's also mobility hubs that are going to be created at the train stations that support bike infrastructure. And with that is the plan for the bike lanes on Summit and Boulevard and Lawrence, so people could ride their bikes. So we're always thinking about that. And but I just want to say another thing, because I'm going to let our biking guy who bikes everywhere, I just want you to know, on my way over here, I said to him, I said, Councilman, were you in the orange safety vest and the helmet going that way on East Broad? You passed right by Town Hall. And he says he was returning his books to the library. So he can speak very passionately about biking. He bikes everywhere, evening, morning, noon, and night. But I just also wanted to express our condolences for Wajid. I'm happy to see that it mobilized so many of you guys to come out here tonight. I think someone did call out accurately. It was driven as much more by the actions of an irresponsible drunk driver, but that doesn't mitigate the needs of what you guys discussed, what you shared with us today, and we appreciate that. And I will say, I think it was Johnny, Ward 4, is it Johnny? Was Jimmy, sorry about that. I couldn't agree with you more about the actions of cars and drivers in today's environment. It is out of control. And I want you to know, and this does not make me feel any better, it's not just Westfield. I talk to mayors all over the state and all over the country, and the irresponsibility of drivers in ignoring traffic safety measures, you're absolutely right. Stop lights, stop signs, everything else. And there's, I know, national conversations going on about what are we going to do about it when people aren't paying attention, or not paying attention, they're blatantly ignoring traffic laws. And, you know, our police do everything we can, but there is a huge responsibility that has to be on personal responsibility that has to be shared. And I don't know what is wrong with our society when people have given up on their own personal responsibility to be safe drivers and mindful of pedestrians and bikes. So I'm going to let Councilman Healy say a few words, and then I'm going to actually ask, because I don't want you, many of you have never been here before, I think that we haven't done anything. I think I'm very proud of this bike and ped plan. That was something we started, initiated. I think Councilman Darty is going to comment too as chair of the bike board. But I'm going to let Councilman Healy talk, Councilman Darty talk, and then I want Town Administrator Jim Gilday talk to share with you what we have done and some of the challenges that we have. County, I think Mr. Neerstead mentioned, the county is a huge problem. I'll be really honest with you, and we can talk about that as well. So, Councilman Healy.
Okay, obviously I rode my bike to the town council meeting tonight, as I try to do every time. And when I went out to get my helmet to display it, I saw that I wasn't the only bike parked on the side. In Maine this summer, I saw those signs that said, you know, you must give 4 feet, to the bicyclists, and I'd never seen such signs before. And I thought that's a really good idea. We should have those. The city of Newark has bike lanes, and I thought to myself when I was riding on those bike lanes, why don't we have those? And I know it's a combination of county and municipal. So now I'm going to give you the big message. This is a terrific showing of political action, but you have to keep going. And we have 2 candidates for mayor running this November, Councilman Mike Domagala and Jeremy Berman are here. They'd love to speak to you about this. What is the plan? Make them state a position on it, and you just have to keep the pressure up. And with respect to the freeholders, the county commissioners, same deal. You just have to keep pressing, and you'll get there. This is a very worthwhile cause. You know the traffic circle on South Avenue? You know how cars are supposed to yield? I had a car that didn't want to yield to me on the bike, and I'm shouting, and that's every day. I do find this is a good tip. When you wear these things, it's an advertisement that you're concerned about safety, so most cars, maybe 90%, 95%, will respect that. Unfortunately, there's the 5% that don't. Thank you very much.
Councilman Darty, do you want to comment?
Again, thank you so much for coming out tonight. We really appreciate you coming out and sharing your passion for improving bike and ped safety in Westfield and throughout the county of Union. As a liaison to the Bike and Ped Safety, Bike and Ped Advisory Board, I can tell you that we have worked hard to put some changes in place, some improvements. And one of those things is an awareness of the 4-foot law that we have now, that's been in place for at least 2 years, as you say. We went so far to feature this law on the Bike and Ped Advisory Board webpage. So if you go there on the town website, you'll find it there, and you'll see some increased awareness, about that. On top of that, we've also included these signs that you're talking about throughout the town. They're not everywhere. I wish that they were increased in number and on main roads, but they are on certain roads throughout Westfield. And they're not, and I'll be honest with you, they're not of the variety that, if you hold up that they're not to that spec, okay?
This is the one approved by the Department of Transportation.
Right. They're something to that degree, but they're not to that spec. And so, maybe we can do something about that. So, again, thank you so much. We have worked hard to increase the safety around bikes, and as we've heard so far, there is this resistance from the county, and we've worked hard to work with them to implement a bike lane, a protected bike lane on East Broad Street. Not full length, but at least part of it down to the Springfield Avenue area. So, but we're going to continue to have those talks, and I think the time is right to bring them up again. Right, Jim?
So Jim, do you want to talk about what we've done and Safe Streets for All? So.
Sure. First, I just want to say again to town employees, express their condolences. I know Chief Bataloro is here in the audience, and he was a first responder. He was the first or second person on the scene, and I thank you for your comments, Mr. Dunn. It is a traumatic experience when you see someone in that state, and he did everything he could to make sure that that person was cared for as best he could, but it's not easy. So a couple of things are mentioned tonight that I think is important. So it's small. I'm just going to list the things that we've done, all right? So we do have a designated shared bike lane on Prospect Street. It was the first thing we did after the 2019 plan. It's a marked, signed, shared bike lane on Prospect from Dudley down to Broad. We did it on that one section for a couple reasons. There was no parking issues to contend with, number one. It also led to our existing bike oasis, our parking area we have, which we created through a grant where we have bike racks, a bike repair station, a water fountain, a dog fountain, a bench seating area. And if you walk by there most days on weekends and even during the summertime, I'm very happy to say I've taken many pictures. The bike racks are full at that station. We have a second bike oasis being put in with a grant as well on Elmer Street, sort of behind the Rialto, our parking lot there, which is a covered bike oasis, which also actually is much more used. And we also help the high school get a grant from Sustainable Jersey, which we've gotten grants before, to get a grant to put a significant bike oasis in at the high school, which is being built right now. If you go by the high school in the front corner of Dorian and Rawway, I was happy to know that, happy to see myself that they have 5 or 6 bike racks that were mostly full on the 3rd or 4th day of school at the high school, and their covered bike oasis is being built right now to accommodate those bikes. So, and again, back to the county, Mr. Nierstedt is right. We have to continue with the county. We have, just so the public knows, we have a standing request to the county for the past 2 years to put in a bike lane, striped bike lane going from Washington School area, Gallows Hill, up Gallows Hill, down East Broad, crossing Springfield onto Nomahegan into Nomahegan Park, connecting a school to a park. A lot of our bike plan, if you see it there, we try to go through and connect parks to the town to parks. There's a network that kids and people can ride and get to. So we've had this standing request. We've even told the county as much as, don't do anything except give us approval. We will do all the work. We will spend all the money. We will stripe it and we will maintain it. Just give us that authority to do it. What the county is going through now, as many of you know, is their SS4A grant, which is supposed to be wrapping up in the next few months, where we're hoping the county does not have, as far as we know, and they've told us, a bike lane policy for their roads. And that's one of the reasons why there's no bike lanes on county roads. So part of this SS4A grant, which we participated in, and the public has as well, we hope will result in a policy the county can adopt, and Westfield will be first in line to be the first one to put a bike lane in on some roads. Not just the roads I mentioned, but our bike ped plan is an excellent plan. I'm glad you're holding it up because, as the mayor said, we're very proud of it. We work with a great consultant. And one last thing to say, we are just starting our SS4A grant, which we got a grant for, our project, in a few weeks with the Public Safety Committee. And it happens to be the same consultant that worked on our bike ped plan is working for SS4A. And it's also the same consultant that is working for the county. And so we're hoping some synergies and some complements there that we can put together so that the results from our plan is complementary to the county plan, and that we can actually not just talk about it and have it on the map, but actually install it on the road. So we're all aligned with that. A couple other quick things to mention, back to the 4-foot passing rule. In addition to what Councilman Doherty has said, before the law was even passed, Mayor Brindle, in her weekly update, she does a newsletter, we were actually advertising this, and we did a bumper sticker campaign, if you don't recall. We actually asked all of our police to put the bumper sticker of 4-foot pass on the back of the cars. Some are still on the back of the cars. While we don't have many signs around town, we did initiate that right before the law was even put into effect in July of 2022. I think the mayor's update was in June of 2022, and Councilman Doherty and the Public Safety Committee actually initiated that bumper sticker campaign on the back of all police cars to educate the public, because as you mentioned, in New Jersey, those signs really don't exist, and people don't know the law. A couple other things the mayor mentioned. One, Westfield Place, we have these bike lanes. She mentioned Boulevard and Summit as a big loop to get to and from the train station. Mobility hubs at both stations, providing not only for bike infrastructure, but scooter infrastructure, Uber and ride shares and so forth to avoid cars. And one last thing to mention, part of that proposal in the Westfield Place plan actually enlarges the pedestrian and bike lane under the train bridge, going from North to South Avenue by the traffic circle. And that was done because we want to accommodate, people have told us on the bike board and just residents that they don't feel safe going under that bridge, getting to and from the north and south side of town. So part of the plan to connect bike lanes on the south side to the north side, and this doesn't even change the roadway, because there's enough width there to create extra lanes without actually having to limit the car travel. So that's part of this plan, and we're hoping to get that started. I think those are the main things I wanted to say, but we continue to do a lot. It's always on top of mind. I know it seems easy to put some bike lanes down. Sometimes a lot of the stuff you're talking about is on county or state roads. And as Mr. Nearstead said, we have pressure on the county. We're hoping a policy will come out of this SS4A grant in the next month or two, and then we'll be the first one in line to say, please let us do what we want to do, not only on our roads, but we can do it with our own money. We don't have to depend upon grants or the county if we want to. The council's been very generous with giving funds for things. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Yeah. Quick comment, because
Yeah, just
this
two
is not
quick
really
things.
allowed.
I know, just two quick things. September 18th, we all plan on going to the county commissioners meeting.
Great.
And I'd like to invite you, the mayor, and the council to come with us, because I think that's more powerful. And then number two, 4-foot passing law sign. I think maybe a first and best spot to put one would be at the site where the ghost bike is now, and there's already a post there. So I think
presume the county will have to do that, since
yeah,
it's a
I'm just
county
saying,
road.
yeah, we'll ask for that too. But this particular sign is
Yeah.
up on
So-
by Sun Tavern in Roselle Park. So I think maybe this.
Well, we would absolutely support that if we can get the county to do it, for sure, absolutely.
And
I think you all probably know the county roads, but all the main roads that we've talked about tonight, north, south, central, are all county roads, and mountain, exactly. So we really are talking about the ability for us to do it on East Broad as well. So all the roads this year are the biggest issues, unfortunately, are county roads. So to reiterate what also Councilman Healy said, your advocacy and organization is really important to support then our efforts in terms of the asks that we make. I would love to implement that entire plan tomorrow, and it really would. And I'm glad to see that you guys see the benefits and merits of that too. So thank you all. Listen, we're going to move on to our agenda. We will not be insulted if you all get up and choose to leave. You're welcome to stay, but I don't want you to feel like you have to sit through this. So thank you so much. All right. Okay, so we are, wow. Thank you all again. All right, thank you all. Have a good night. Okay, so we are going to get on to the exciting world of bills and claims. Councilman Hapgood.
Thank you, Mayor. Now it's time for, I'll just wait a second.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you again, Mayor. Now it's time for I'm sorry, I'm in the
You
wrong
did that.
spot. In the wrong spot. We're not going to have open discussion any longer. That was very inspiring tonight and very nice to see so many different groups coming out together to inspire all of us to do better, because we have great plans, but we all have to keep working toward higher goals. Getting back to the agenda, I'd like to move bills and claims in the amount of $1,985,117.06.
May I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Dardia. Any discussion? All in favor?
Yes.
Opposed? This motion is carried. Next, reports to standing committees. We have the Finance Policy Committee. Councilman Hapgood.
I have 10 resolutions that I'd like to move as a package. The first, a resolution authorizing the CFO to refund Recreation Department fees. The second, a resolution authorizing the CFO to refund Police Department fees. 3, a resolution authorizing the CFO to draw a warrant for dog licenses for August 2025. 4th, a resolution authorizing the CFO to draw a warrant for unused parking permit fee. 5th, a resolution authorizing the CFO to draw a warrant for the Board of Adjustment escrow monies. 6th, a resolution authorizing the CFO to refund street opening cash bond. 7, a resolution authorizing the CFO to draw warrants for overpaid taxes. 8th, a resolution authorizing the tax collector to cancel disabled veteran taxes. 9, a resolution authorizing the CFO to refund payment due to disabled veteran exemptions. And 10, a resolution authorizing an affordability assistance grant pursuant to the Town of Westfield's Affordability Assistance Program for a tenant of an affordable housing unit at 1111 Echo Lane, Unit 1111.
May I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Armento. Any discussion?
Yes. You can go first, it's okay. Go ahead.
All right, well, what I wanted to say on this is that this is resolution number 10 on giving an affordable housing grant is a part, albeit a very small part, of Westfield's effort to meet its responsibilities to have an enforceable constitutional zoning plan. And this council, with the positive vote of every single member of the mayor and council, supported a plan which will be a constitutional zoning plan, because it allows for some level of multifamily housing and affordable housing. We have submitted that plan to the state mediation process, and we're proud to do so. I think all of us are proud to do so, because it protects every single family zone, and it prohibits what was called the builder's remedy. These are two things. We want to control our zoning in town to keep our town the way planners and thinkers and elected officials want it to be. We submitted our plan. It has been opposed by one of the biggest developers in the state of New Jersey, Toll Brothers. And apparently for Toll Brothers, it's never enough. More, more, more. We have a good plan that allows for affordable housing. We will challenge anybody who thinks that we don't have a good plan in front of the court system. And we have good staff and good lawyers to support that plan. It's done in good faith. And I'll point out, not every town has done it in good faith. Just look at, if you want to look at carefully at this, look at what Summit proposed and look at what Mountainside proposed as their good faith plan. And there's a reason why the fair share housing entity that is trusted by the courts opposed Mountainside's plan and opposed Summit's plan, and yet did not oppose Westfield's plan. They only are seeking more information from us, and I think everybody, any objective observer will view the Westfield zoning plan that we put forward is one in good faith and will make Westfield a better place. Thank you.
Councilman Delgado?
I'm in no way in disagreement with your statement. However, for me, my concentration is on number 4. In this particular case, I am the number 4 on this list, and because these items are packaged, I will abstain from voting on them. However, I will use the opportunity to go ahead and let everybody know that if you do have a space which you are not using, you have the ability to go ahead and turn that permit in, and thereby allowing somebody else to go ahead and get a spot. So I took that step. I'm giving a spot to some random person potentially that will probably enjoy it a great amount. So.
And since we're talking about it, one thing, because Councilman Donegal and I got an email about it today, one thing that we're hoping and more to come about the online permitting process that's also going to involve license plate readers. It's going to give us a lot more flexibility to adapt our parking strategies to the realities on the ground. And we hope some of that will maximize the efficiency of the lots, which will encourage other people to do what Councilman Donegal has done and maybe give up a second permit that they're just holding on to. And I know some people just hold on to them when they aren't working in the city anymore because they think, what if I ever go back and work in the city again and I want it back? So even changing policies, I've said this, instead of having to go back in the line, if you give up your permit, knowing that if you end up going back in the city, you could be earlier in the line, that might be an encouragement for people to give up it at the time.
Yeah.
So,
I think we received a lot of pretty good suggestions. I think something will work its way through.
Yeah.
But the fact that you can go ahead and get a daily pass, I'll guess say a month from now or a month and a half from now, I think is a big appealing factor of it, that you don't have to go ahead and stand online or wait in your car online and hope for a spot. And I do realize that spots are limited. I was there earlier today. I couldn't get a spot in the north lot at all.
what time are you there?
Oh, sorry, south lot. I was there at noon.
Oh, I'm always
So
curious how much of it
was
is.
wall-to-wall packed, and I have a permit.
But I also wonder how much of it is the people who park there after 10 for free.
And that's just
That's
it.
the big, that's
If
why I
you
asked
can
for
have the
time.
coming and going and make it
Right.
easy for a period of time, I think it'll be
agreed.
great for the town.
Well, that you guys, so anyway, okay, so we have to vote on this, I guess.
Yes, but before we do that, and this isn't related to the resolutions tonight, but Mayor, I did want to thank you for reminding everyone tonight about the financial implications of One Westfield Place and all the benefits that our community stands to realize. The mayor, also later talked about all the safety aspects of the plan, the hundreds of millions of dollars that this community stands to benefit from full implementation of One Westfield Place. And I'm very happy to see that the last lawsuit has now again been ruled in our favor, and I hope that that will be the end of it, because we have experienced a lot of delays in a plan that will bring a lot of benefits to this community. And I was very closely involved in a lot of the financial analysis related to One Westfield Place, and I just wanted to reiterate to anyone, there's not a lot of people left in the room, but hopefully there's still people watching live. But I just wanted to reiterate my offer to sit down with anyone who still has questions about what the benefits of One Westfield Place are from a financial perspective, because I do feel like there's a lot of misinformation out there about what it really means. And so I did a lot of that work sitting in the center downtown that was open for community residents to, come and see what was going on with the plan. I spent many a Saturday afternoon there answering questions that residents brought to me. And I just want to say that it doesn't end. My name and email and phone number are still on the website, and I would be happy to answer any questions. I am only officially in this office until the end of this calendar year, but that offer extends beyond that. So I just wanted to add that to the discussion tonight.
Thank you. And it was very timely that all the bike folks are here, because I think that infrastructure is a critical component of the benefits.
I just make one statement. So Councilman Delmagal, you don't have to abstain from all the resolutions. You can simply vote and then indicate to the clerk that you're abstaining from number 4 only. So she's got it.
All right, okay. So, all in favor?
Yes.
Yes, except number 4.
We got that. Opposed? Okay, this motion has carried. Code Review and Town Property Committee, Councilman Healy.
I'd like to move a resolution to approve a child amusement device in town.
May I have a second? Second by Councilman Domagala. Any discussion? All in favor?
Yes.
Opposed? This motion has carried. Public Works Committee, Councilman Healy.
It's a lot of heavy lifting, Mayor.
going, yeah.
I'd like to move a resolution which allows for a transfer of the recycling collectors authority, because they changed, one company bought another company, and we're just going to stick with the same people. That's what that resolution is about.
May I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Armento. Any discussion? All in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Opposed? This motion has carried. May I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
So by Councilman Armento, second. Second by Councilman Hapgood. All in favor?
Yes.
Opposed? This motion is carried. This meeting is adjourned. Thanks for those that joined us. Good night, everybody.